views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Meetings of the Minds in partnership with BronxNet Television. As you already know, these segments are geared towards making sure you know who our members, our affiliates, and our partners are. More importantly, you will see firsthand who supports you and get a clear understanding of who you should support. That's right. It works both ways. We are a membership organization. So if you're not yet a member, it's very easy. Just visit www.hispanicchamber.nyc, www.hispanicchamber.nyc. Or you could just follow us on LinkedIn, New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, all spelled out. Work those fingers, New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and engage with us. Our community has had somewhat of a bashful relationship with someone I like to call Don Dinero. That's right, Mr. Money. He comes and goes as he pleases. How dare he? But today it's time for us to take some type of control. We must have this uncomfortable conversation and learn how to have this uncomfortable conversation with Don Dinero. I'm happy to introduce Jonathan Polanco, the owner of Polanco Wealth Strategies. Let's get to know this gentleman a little bit more and why he chose to educate us on wealth management. Hola, Jonathan. How are you and how is the family, my friend?
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invite. Family's doing great. We're doing great. It's a beautiful day out and couldn't be happier being together with you guys.
No, it's great. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us. You know, Jonathan, your story is incredible. You grew up in the South Bronx, graduated from Mercy College, so you stayed here in the community, and you've also worked for Fortune 500 companies. We want to know a little bit about your story. Walk us through this path.
So it's a long one. I'm going to try and keep it short. I love to talk. That's one of my good and bad traits. But I would say growing up in the South Bronx, we have that extra sense, that sense of, and I always say this for my fellow South Bronxers out there, we can kind of tell the good and bad in people at a very quick rate. So being able to grow in an environment that many people will call it survival, not just grow, I've always told myself there has to be more out of life. And in doing that, I saw my parents who immigrated from the Dominican Republic, and I saw their struggle, their hard work. And I said, hey, I'm going to have to step it up a level and make sure that, especially with money, don dinero, it was a struggle growing up, and I've made it a motive very young that I would not let it be a struggle for me. So that kind of sparked my inspiration of learning money. But throughout that trajectory, I learned to hate money, then I learned to love money, then I learned to finally realize money is just a tool.
I'm glad you said that money is just a tool. And there also, you mentioned about the relationship, the up and down relationship you yourself had with money. And whenever we think money, we immediately either think poor or wealthy. You are a wealth management. Do we have to have money, or do we have to have wealthy to start having wealth management or learning how to manage our finance? Do we have to be wealthy?
I'm glad you asked. That's one big misconception. Everybody kind of thinks you have to already be rich to talk about wealth. And no, completely not. One of the biggest things I've learned is creating wealth is easier than people would think. There is one big word I like to add on there, but I'll add two. It's planning and discipline. One of the things that I'll say is instant gratification. Everything is so quick nowadays that a lot of people fall for that dream, that dream selling that's out there. There's so many people trying to sell get rich quick schemes. And our community is the number one target because we're the ones that are in most need and we fall for that. Or when we get a plan like a financial advisor, well, that's for the wealthy. Absolutely not. You can start from literally no money. As long as you're planning for the future, it's always a good start.
How do people start with no money? Like, what do you help? Like, do we, so you're, what I'm understanding is that we don't have to come with you with a lot of money, right? Like, what do you help us with? I'm here, I'm Sulma. Hey, I need to learn how to manage money. What would you tell me?
Perfect. I always tell people, me and my career, I keep it basic fourth grade math. You know, all of us starting out, we have jobs and our goal is to grow each level. But one of the things, if we don't have a plan as we grow to each level, we're never going to actually know where we stand. I always said this, for a lot of people getting a job, it's some hard, doing the situation now, but our goal is to get a job, go to school, get a career. But once you have a job, the next step is planning how to take that income and convert it to wealth. That's one of the main focus that I have is, hey, if you start out straight out of college and you want to know how it is that you can start creating wealth, one of the big ways is ownership. Materialistic things are very attractive and they're constantly bombarded at us. But my talks and my conversation on how to help people usually starts with how to own, how to get away from being a renter, how to put money aside, which is the first step to creating wealth. You have to build a savings to then make that first initial investment, either through a real estate investment, through stock market investment, but it's very basic. You don't need $1 million to start.
It's almost like what's in front of you and how, and the answer is right there, right? What do I have? And how can I utilize this to build? That's what I'm hearing. You could have done this even working for a Fortune 500 company as a startup. What prompted you to do it as an entrepreneur and start Polanco Wealth Strategies?
So I'll say this, and I'll try to be use my words carefully, but corporate America kind of has a cookie cutter way, and I don't believe in one size fits all. And coming from my walk of life, I realized that there's a better way of trying to acquire wealth that's not your traditional open up a Roth IRA, open up a 401k. That is a tool to help you create wealth. I think that there's a disconnect between taking that tool and then utilizing that to magnify your wealth creation. I know a lot of especially the young individuals now, they're not falling for the work 50 years and enjoy 10. And I think that's where I bring a big value of explaining, hey, you know what? We have to change that math because it doesn't make any sense. And we have to do it by creating wealth from a young age. I think that's a big factor. The younger you can do it, the further ahead you'll be able to get.
You just blew my mind. Work 50 years and enjoy 10. That's almost more than half of your lifetime, right? Because what's the life expectancy? So 10, enjoying 10 is just not acceptable, and it shouldn't be acceptable for our communities. What have you found has been the main priority when clients come to you, or what have you been surprised by?
Well, I wrote this down. I wrote little notes, and one of the things that surprises me right now is all of these get rich quick schemes. It's something that I get it all the time. The market has been doing phenomenal, and everybody is now paying attention because there's so many people out there in social media showing bank accounts, showing their crypto accounts, and everybody wants that, and they're falling for it because they feel it's the easy way to do it. So kind of that old school way of hard work, time. I'm not saying we're going to do it overnight. That's one of the things that I want to embed into people. What comes easy, most of the time goes easy. What comes with hard work, you appreciate it more and you hold on to it more. So that's been something I've been seeing a lot, in my conversations with clients lately.
So you're basically, and this, this goes into the next question. It's like, how do we make sure as a community we're not dropping the ball, right? So what should our main priorities be? Because, you alluded to that a bit, hard work. We can't drop the ball on hard work.
I'm going to say this, and it's a lot of taboos that culturally, ethnically wise, we've been told. One of the biggest lies that I learned very, very young in my career is the biggest lie we're told is to exchange time for money. If we don't find a way to stop exchanging our time for money, I always say this, remember, our bills don't sleep. Our expenses keep going 24/7. So if we're only working, 8 hours, 12 hours a day, we're losing. It's a loss equation. So one of the priorities I always say is your job, your income is your number one tool to create assets, to buy, to create passive income. So I understand there's a lot of different ways to get to that level. So when I sit down with my clients, depending on the conversation and where their mentality is, I take them away from that exchange of time with money and tell them we have to create asset. We have to create wealth. Ownership is wealth because it gives you more income and it stays with you, and you create what's called generational wealth because you can leave it behind for your loved ones.
Generational wealth is key. It's something that is important to us. And as a Latino community, our families are very important, right? And they are key. So generational wealth is something worth looking into. You gave us a lot of incredible insight. And I think a lot of what you said had to be broken down. I have so many more questions when it comes to when do we come to you, with an accountant already, a lawyer already, or is it just you? And we have to give the audience an opportunity to look forward to you. So we're going to be answering these questions on future interviews for sure. But in the meantime, how do we get in contact with you? Where do we find you?
So I currently have my office located in Drochneck. It's 3515 East Tremont, Bronx, New York 10465. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Polanco Wealth. And you guys can type down my email. It's jonathan@pwsny.com.
Very good. Can you, I know we have a few minutes. Is there any advice that you would like to give us, or something that will bring down that curtain of fear? Something we can maybe start right now to try and get us to make the decision to go see someone like you?
I would say this, and one of the biggest things that has helped me is if you're uncomfortable, it's a good thing. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. The only big thing that I can tell you is, and I felt guilty to this, was over preparing. The perfect time is never going to come. The time is now. So a lot of people wait till they get that six-figure job. They wait till all the, kind of things align. Sit down with a financial advisor. Sit down with that person that's been there where you're trying to get sooner than later, and you'll realize that's one of the most important things you could have done.
All right, you heard it here first. The time is now. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for being with us. I'm confident this will not be the last. We look forward to you becoming an official member of the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Again, it is very simple. Just visit www.hispanicchamber.nyc, www.hispanicchamber.nyc, and follow us on LinkedIn, New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, all spelled out. Thank you once again, y bendiciones.
Thank you.